Welcome back
to the Free Judge Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You are now tuned in to episode
That's a 165. 165 of the Free Gems.
Shout out to 165th Street and all that. Listen, we here. We are on a beautiful Sunday. We coming to you live.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. A nice August Sunday.
Nice August winter. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the transition.
Because I ain't gonna lie, bro. What the weather said, fuck y'all summer.
Yeah.
It's 65 degrees in the morning now. Deal with that, motherfucker.
This is the type of weather you don't know what to wear.
Yo, bro,
you gotta throw on the jorts. You feel me?
Yo, bro,
you don't know what to wear.
You think you're going to the beach on Sunday? You gotta put on a hoodie. It's like, what's happening right now? Bro,
but
it's 74 degrees.
You gotta put on a hoodie early, but midday it'd be hot.
I'm telling you,
until that sun go down.
Eventually, this shit's gonna turn to fucking Medellin. We're just gonna have one consistent weather throughout the whole year. So it's gonna be 70-some. The ice caps are gonna melt. The polar bears are done. The penguins are fucking done.
Florida's gonna be underground. Underwater.
California's gonna be an island, and we're gonna fucking die. It's cool. I accepted all of this already. I'm not gonna lie to you, because what the fuck just happened this summer, bro? We had 6 weeks. Yo, bro, we had 6 weeks. It went from the middle of June to Tuesday of this week that just passed.
We didn't, and you got to realize we really didn't have a spring. It was just weird weather and just hot allergies and hot. It wasn't really no like springy type weather. No,
even in May it was fake brick.
That's what I'm saying, and it was just hot.
In May it was fake. It was still cold out. Like still needed a hoodie in May.
And then
we was kids. I ain't gonna lie. By March, April, you was letting go of the hoodies.
Yeah.
I mean, the jacket. The jacket was
big jacket.
March, for me, good hoodie. You straight. You know what I'm saying? April, still hoodie. But we was probably playing baseball in April and May, and it was hot by May. My May was blazing.
Listen, weatherman going crazy the last few years.
The weatherman is going crazy, but you know who else is
Mother Nature.
You know who else is going crazy?
Who else is going crazy?
We got to talk about it because I know you've seen the headlines, bro.
Yes.
Bro, they talking about Jake Paul and Tank Davis just sanctioned a fight, and they're saying it's going to happen on Netflix, and you already know it's a big payday coming. I want to know your thoughts on this fight. I want to hear a lot about this fight.
My thoughts are, I think we are at the stage where now boxing is becoming like the WWE, and I think it's bad for the sport.
You think so?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's bad for the sport because it's a money grab.
Right. Yeah, that's obvious.
It's not. But I feel like there was a lot more continuity back in the day as far as a fighter is concerned. Nowadays, I feel like there's a lot of gimmicks and money grabs and popularity contests rather than being about the actual sport of boxing, the science of boxing.
Do you blame Jake Paul for this? And Logan Paul, the Paul brothers, because I feel like Logan was the first one to come out and beat up. Who was it? Nate Robinson. Yeah. And after that, we was like, yo, let's see if Jake will really fight.
I think they're the catalyst, but it was more so the era. They're just the catalysts, the main ones who are the figureheads of all this. But it's the streaming era. It's the influencer era.
Yeah.
You know, like people like I feel like back in the day, this would have never happened, regardless of who the person on the other side was. And this is no disrespect to Tank Davis at all. I think Tank Davis is one of the greatest fighters in the world, and he about to get paid, so get that bag, young man. But back in the day, I don't think we would see a fighter that's in his prime fight a celebrity figure for the bag. I think back in the day, a fighter had they had more continuity based on the sport of boxing. I feel like they would have felt like it's disrespectful for me to be in the ring with this person. Now I'm talking about like, not saying every single person, but I'm talking about like the energy around the sport of boxing, the art of boxing. Like you don't deserve to be in the same ring as me. Yeah. I does this for a living, regardless. So I just think it's bad for the sport. I think it's more like WWE.
It sounds like you're completely discrediting Jake Paul, though. You feel like he's not a legit fighter. You don't respect his game, even though, do you respect his game?
Oh yes, I respect his game.
Is he a legit fighter?
Yeah, I respect his game, but it's a money grab.
Of course, it's a money grab, but. I mean,
but they're not even the same weight class or nothing.
Listen, we're gonna get into that.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a money grab
for sure.
There's no way those two should be fighting. Is what I'm saying.
For $40 million, ain't shit stopping us from fighting.
That's the point. That's what I'm saying.
Tank ain't probably never made more than like $10 million off a fight.
That's why I'm saying it's the WWE. WWE is whatever.
They saying they should be walking away with a minimum of about 40 each.
I'm not saying Jake Paul isn't. I respect Jake Paul as a fighter, but. Like I said,
you say he has no business in the ring with Tank Davis. That's pretty much what you said.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
they're only in the same because if they were in equal weight classes, it's not even close. I don't think.
Okay. Nah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I see what you're saying, though. For sure, I think it could definitely hurt the sport of boxing. But at the same time, I feel like it's bringing eyes and attention and a lot of, bro, it's been like 3-4 years of these conversations. All of a sudden, we want to know who will win in this fight, Jake Paul or Tank Davis. It's a legit question. And I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win. Because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think. You got Tank Davis, Jake Paul. Who do you think is going to win?
I think personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank too little.
I said, bro.
I think Tank's too little. That's what I'm saying. I think that's why they have weight classes for a reason.
Davis
they have weight classes for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Bro.
Yeah,
I was that size in about 7th grade, literally. Bro, if that was on a female, that's fire dimensions. I ain't gonna lie.
Yo.
Tank's built like a bad bitch. If you look at his dimensions, 5'5", 135, that's a BBL.
Yeah.
She nice.
Yeah. Listen.
5'5", 135, her shit booming out the like, but Tank Davis is 5'5", 135. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205 pounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Dog.
He's too
6'1",
little.
205.
I think he's too little, personally.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think people understand because everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind.
That's what
okay,
I'm saying.
People be like, yeah, but Tank's been doing it his whole life. Yes, but Jake Paul has been doing this real deal for the last like 6-7 years.
But he's been, I do not see if I felt like I did not try to come off as disrespectful because I think he's a legit fighter.
Right, he showed it.
Like I said, I feel like this is become a soap opera. WWE.
For sure. Honestly,
I'm not really a fan of that. I'm not really a fan of it.
I am a fan because it stirs the conversation. And I'm gonna be real with you. Prior to these celebrity fights, boxing was down. The talks of boxing was down, bro. The only people I knew in boxing prior to like the last 4 years, it was Tank. It was Tank, Deontay Wilder, and I only knew about Tyson Fury because he fought Deontay Wilder. When Tyson Fury came out of nowhere, they were like, yo, he's probably the greatest boxer heavyweight ever. I was like, who the fuck is this? I've never even heard of this guy. All of a sudden, he put millions on Deontay Wilder, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess this guy's big. And then then Anthony Joshua got stumped by the fat Mexican dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now we know about these people. But if it wasn't for these celebrity fights, I feel like now we know about Roach, who I think Tank definitely need to go holler at Roach before he even go fight Jake Paul.
I agree. But this is what I'm saying as far as continuity in the sport. Back in the day, I don't think anybody would have even why would you even do that?
Give Roach his rematch, then go fight Jake Paul for the bag. But you know what it is though? If he goes in the ring and gets whooped by Roach, you know what I'm saying? It kind of doesn't really it just takes so much momentum from the Jake Paul fight for real. It takes so much, and the risk of him getting beat up twice, it'd be crazy.
But that's what it's about. It's about the rivalries.
Yeah,
it's about this. It's about Bill and Manila. You feel me? Part 2. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. I'm glad you said it. You're talking about momentum for the Jake Paul fight.
Right.
This shouldn't even be a. That's my point. This is boxing, bro.
I get what you're saying.
But
I'm excited.
Look, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna watch it. Don't get me wrong. I just think
it's must see TV.
I just think it's bad for the sport.
For sure.
I'm not saying it's not putting a lot of eyes that people would have normally not seen. I'm not saying that they're not making a boatload of money that they would have never got.
Yeah.
But for the sport of boxing, I think it's bad for the sport of boxing. And not only that, it's more I think the days you'll never see boxers just taking fights anymore.
Nah, hell no.
Those days are over with.
Everybody's trying to be undefeated like Floyd.
That's what I'm saying.
And everybody's trying to be independent and get paid like Floyd. And sorry, but the truth is, most of y'all not Floyd. Tank, we love your game, buddy, but you got to stop beating your women up. I ain't gonna lie, son. Yeah. You're fucking it up. Floyd did the same mistake and went to jail for it in the middle of his prime. And Tank has this, it's just a bad habit. I feel like all that bullshit he be going on, he still the people he got around him is not allowing him to go up to that next level. But I mean, who knows? Because I still think he has some years left, and people are saying Tank might be retiring soon, within the next fight or two. They say after this Jake Paul payout, he might get the fuck up out of there. It might be a Conor McGregor situation where I made more money than I made my entire career off this one fight. What am I doing fighting anymore? I'm cool. I'm gonna walk away at this bitch. Well, Tank's 30. He's relatively young, especially for a boxer. He should be 3. He should have a good 3, 5, 6 years left. You know what I'm saying? But I feel no. I was just gonna say. I feel like people are underestimating how much of a difference 60, 70.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
He won't be able to hurt Jake Paul. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. 135-pound puncher, bro. That's like literally a 7th grader trying to fight a NFL fucking wide receiver. It's just not gonna do.
No, literally.
You can hit me as hard as you want. It's not gonna do shit.
Yo,
to me.
it's funny because 135 pounds was literally the cutoff for JV in middle
That's
school.
what-
Literally,
7th grade. Yes, you're right.
Literally,
you
the
couldn't be a
cutoff.
skill position player if you were over 135 pounds in the 7th grade.
No. If you were 136, you couldn't play.
Yo,
Like,
right.
yeah, literally.
Right, you have to go to varsity.
That
You have
was
to go play with
literally the
bigger
cutoff.
boys. But I say that too to say like people like a good example of it, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, there was like McGregor walked around like at 180. I think he weighed in at like 165 or something, or like I think he got down at 158 to fight with Floyd. I'm not too sure exactly if they met at the exact weight class, but I'm pretty sure they had to. But regardless, they fight. Mayweather normally walks around like 145. He walks around at his fighting weight. Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30-pound, 30-pound difference, bro. If you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 30-pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. Like no matter what. And that's exactly what I feel like is going to happen versus Jake and Tank. Tank's going to hit him as hard as he wants. But Jake will get one good rib shot. Tank's never felt that. He's never felt a 205-pounder heavyweighter hit him in the middle of the ring at a prime fight when it's real. This ain't no sparring match in some back alleyway in Baltimore. This is live in the ring. Here's a full flurry, full fucking like 205-pound right hook to the rib. Boom. What you think that's gonna do to him, bro?
I
don't see it. I don't see it.
There's a reason why there's weight classes in boxing and in wrestling as well. There's a reason why there's weight class.
Yes.
You can be the best middleweight wrestler in your weight class, but lose to a heavyweight who's average.
Like some people will really sit here and tell you, yo, I think Mayweather could have beat Mike Tyson in their primes. And I would look at you like, you must be
absolutely
like
not.
an idiot. Like, do you know what Mike Tyson will rearrange Mayweather's face off the first punch? Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
why there's weight classes for a reason.
Yeah.
They have those
Mike
for a
was
reason.
getting punched by George Foreman. George Foreman was like 6'5", 250. Like, what?
And Mike
wasn't even that big.
I'm about to say Mike was a little heavyweight.
Yeah, Mike was like 5'11", 200 pounds.
Yeah, he was a little
200, 210, I think.
He was a little heavyweight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was taking punches from monsters. Like,
I think it's going to be a tough one for Tank. I think it's going to be a tough one for Tank, but either way, they get in that bag.
But I get either way,
it's must-see TV.
Watching.
But like I said, I don't think it's good for the sport of
Netflix,
boxing.
make sure y'all got that shit together. No crashing. We not doing none of that crashing the streams, none of that shit.
Netflix got to get their servers right. They have time and opportunity to do that. So
I mean, let's switch topic. I know people, not everybody that fond of boxing, but you know what I mean. Let's talk about this Hernandez Govan. I don't know if you seen one of the accused killers of Young Dolph.
Oh, word.
Did you see anything that was going on?
No, talk to me about it.
So Hernandez Govan is alleged to have been one of the orchestrators of the hit on Young Dolph. You know, Young Dolph was killed in Memphis at the cookie store.
Yeah.
And we saw it was clear, broad day, like paid hit just by the way it was executed. And this dude Hernandez Govan, his daughter, I forget her name on top of my head, but she was a rapper, a female rapper from Memphis. She was shot down in Houston.
Yes, I remember that.
Right,
I remember that.
Her and Lil Uzi was about to sign her. There was a lot going on for her. Then people found out, she was the daughter of Hernandez Govan, and it was alleged that her getting gunned down in Houston was tied into the Young Dolph situation. You know what I'm saying? So he gets acquitted. And everybody was gassed. Everybody was like, what the fuck? This dude just beat this? Everybody was like sure that he was going down for it. And you could just tell by the press conference he had after. They asked him like, how does he feel? What's going on? He was like, I'm more nervous now than ever. Like I was nervous for the last 4 years. Like they were like, what are your plans? He was like, immediately moving out of Memphis. Like I'm gone. Like you could see the fear in this man's face. Even though he beat this, you could see the fear in this man's face. And this shit is scary, bro.
That's another thing,
bro.
That's another
This is also been the most public, like clear, like gang, like confrontations on a big level because it's clear what's been going on. Young Dolph gets killed, cool. Yo Gotti's brother gets murdered at his own like uncle's funeral. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, well, Yo Gotti's there. Like they just barely split apart, and then his brother Big Jook gets gunned down. And then we find out that the dude who killed Young Dolph, one of them, Straight Drop, was affiliated with Young Dolph and ended up going to fuck with Gotti. And all of a sudden, however long later, he's gunning down Young Dolph. Like, it's just bad. And I ain't gonna lie, Gotti, if I was Yo Gotti, bro, I'd be on that first trip to wherever, nigga, Swahili, Taiwan, some weird place with his brown skin Asian people. Go far. Go to Thailand. Go far, bro. Because I'm telling you, it don't look good. You know the feds will wait 5-10 years to come get you. Gotti, I'm praying you don't got nothing to do with this. But Rock Nation, y'all might have some explaining to do.
Rock Nation, you will crumble.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my son Daystar Peterson and all that. That's Tory Lanez, by the way. But yeah.
Wow. So I didn't even know he got acquitted. But
yeah, bro.
It's definitely. But it's when you look at the chain reaction that's unraveling. It's been a long history of what's going on in Memphis. Memphis, as you know, is one of those cities, man, where it's wide open, and a lot of those street beefs run deep, and there's a lot of chain reactions to things. And you're right about how the feds move, and it's crazy because, you know, when you live that type of lifestyle, there's really only eventually it catches up with you in a lot of different ways, and hopefully Gotti had nothing to do with it.
I'm praying, bro.
I hope Gotti had nothing to do with it. I just hope that, and that's another thing. That's another side to it. You said he beat the case, but now he has to go back and face that.
Yeah,
reality.
Now you got to face the wrath of whatever the fuck CMG, Cocaine Music Group, allegedly, has to do with you, because they don't sound like they was playing, bro. They was putting bags on heads, allegedly, and shit happened, all right? A lot of shit, that shit shook the city. And don't forget, right after Dolph was murdered, there was like 4 murders within the next like 24 hours.
No, literally. It was
like, this shit is not a game. This shit was a bloodbath, and it was clear that it was because of this and it was because of that. They found the car at Straight Drop's house. Like, it's just, man, I don't know. Memphis is literally a GTA server right now, and it's insane. But I mean, you know, rest in peace to Dolph, and rest in peace to Jug and everybody involved in that situation. It's really sad that these super successful artists that come from the hood, that really make it out, get on their entrepreneur grind. Both of them are so similar, Gotti and Dolph, as far as their path to the top. And it's sad to see, like, damn, these are in their 30s, because Dolph died early, but 30s and 40s, adult, grown black men, rich, successful. And this is what we're resolving to. Like, we're going to gun each other down in the streets of Memphis, and we're going to send out potential artists that we're supposed to be changing their lives to go kill them. But that's all alleged. I don't know. But regardless, the streets is tricky, man.
You know, it's funny you say that. I want to transition because this kind of is a related topic.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about in a lot of the big cities, as far as crimes and murder and stuff, a lot of them are down in a lot of the major cities. And I want to highlight one city in particular, Baltimore, Maryland. Shout out to the mayor, Brandon M. Scott. Brandon M. Scott. Yeah, shout out Lamar.
Of course.
But shout out to the mayor, Brandon M. Scott. Since he's been in office, a lot of crime rate has been down. So I wanted to read you some of the statistics since he's been there.
Talk about it.
So in the first half of 2025, Baltimore recorded the fewest homicides in over 50 years, with nearly 23% drop. April 2025, historic low of just 5 homicides, a 61.5% decrease from April 2024.
Damn, 5 is a lot, bruh.
Yeah,
5's still a lot.
But that's still decrease.
You said that's a 60%,
61% decrease.
Meaning there was like 11 last year.
Something like, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's almost 3 a week, gang.
So,
that's every other day somebody's dropping.
Yeah, literally. That's more than 1 week.
And that's
1.25 a week.
Easter's in April, bro. How you killing niggas around Jesus? Like, that's crazy.
So, homicides are down 23% in the lowest in the last 50 years. Non-fatal shootings are down 19 to 23%. Juvenile victims down 70%. Sexual assaults down 35%. Robberies down 23%. Carjackings down 15%. Theft and arsons down between 10 and 34%.
Damn.
A lot of this has to do with the strategy of the community-based approaches that Baltimore has been implementing, and a lot of these other big cities have been implementing.
It's crazy though, because isn't Trump like letting out the fucking?
He
put the National Guard, didn't he?
That is, I'm leading into all.
Okay.
I'm leading into all.
By the way, 60% decrease from 5. If it's 5, I think it would be like 8. That means it was 8, not 11. I did the math wrong.
Correct, because it'd be a little over half.
I'm tripping. Right.
Yeah. Nah,
Sorry.
Nah, you good.
The
You good.
mathematic in me was like, nah.
Nah,
that's
you
so
like,
wrong.
nah. I was
gotta say
off.
this
I was
out
like, nah,
loud.
I can't.
It's gonna
Nah.
bother me if
Yeah,
I'm-
they
if I'm
gonna be in
correct
a.
myself.
I know they in a chat right now. I'm
Yeah, it's a
going
fact.
crazy over you. I already know. Like, actually, it's
Yeah, right.
so. So he has different programs, community-based programs implemented, such as the Safe Streets and Group Violence Reduction Strategy, using a carrot and stick approach, offering life coaching and support alongside enforcement for high-risk individuals. Media and academic credit this holistic cross-sector model, including nonprofit partnerships, federal funding, America Rescue Plan, and data-driven policing for cities' crime reduction success. There's a few other things in here, but what we know, what's going on in Baltimore, D.C., New York, where crime is down, is when you actually give more community outreach and you pour more into the community, crime is going to go down. It is that simple. The statistics are there, and they have always been there. Now, Trump deployed the National Guard in D.C. He's threatening to do the same in Baltimore. He's threatening to do the same in New York. He's threatening to do the same in Chicago for his being tough on crime. And Judge Jeanine, I'm not sure if you know who that is. She's on Fox News.
She white?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. She could
Trying
be.
to paint the picture.
She could be.
Yeah.
But she could be one of those Latinos who's
Jeanine.
white passing.
Yeah.
Judge Jeanine. She's on Fox News. She's a Fox News contributor and talking about the violent crimes. One of the reporters asked her a question about the prevention of violent crimes, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said something about that's not my concern. My concern is about the victims after the crime happens. And I just want to say that's the approach that they've been using about crime. And you got to realize crime is a moneymaker. And they've never wanted to actually reduce crime because in this society, crime pays. And the tough and gung-ho approach to crime doesn't actually solve the crime problem.
No.
It never has. And you got to realize, well, when there's a lot of crime, now you can increase police budgets. You don't forget of the lobbying a lot of the private prisons do, to where they make sure that they have at least an 80% retention rate in their facilities. So they really have to manufacture crime. And don't forget, we pay for per bed for these private prisons. It's all a business. It's a money-making business. These people do not actually care about crime. Because if they did, they would use the preventative measures of crime, such as we can take it back to even schools. We can take it back. They can predict. Statistics can kind of predict as far as the at-risk youth based on reading scores in third grade.
But question: what exactly does the National Guard being deployed into these cities? What does it actually do,
They're bringing back stop and frisk. They're pulling up. They're bringing the National Guard into underfunded, underdeveloped neighborhoods and running down.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't necessarily gonna say I'm against stop and frisk. I don't know.
If
you got a
100%.
gun on you, you shouldn't. I think you should be in jail, gang. I'm gonna be real.
But that's an amendment violation. You can't just stop. Yeah, what do you mean? You can't just stop somebody, a pedestrian on the street, and stop and frisk them.
You know what's crazy?
That's not how it goes. That's literally against. That's you can't do that.
I get that, and maybe because I don't know.
And you know what that leads into? Racial profiling. Just like they're doing with ICE. If you're Hispanic looking, they can stop and frisk you and wear your papers.
Right.
It goes hand in hand.
Profiling.
Absolutely. It goes hand in hand.
But I'm not gonna lie. If you snatch everybody up that got an illegal gun, if you don't got one, fuck it. You'll be fine. But if you got a gun, that's gonna lead to somebody getting shot, or it's just there's just no good with being guns on the street. So I can understand why they're like, yo, let's just get the guns off the street. If we get the guns off the street, which is impossible, by the way.
Because
it's just never gonna be able to clear off all the guns.
Well,
but
of course not.
I can see the problem. I'm trying to figure. Okay, I didn't know they were doing stop and frisk. I thought they were just standing around and have like a police presence, which calms people down. You know what I'm saying? Like people aren't gonna be running around having shootouts in the middle of O Block if there's National Guard just sitting there. You know what I'm saying?
No, they're running down in DC neighborhoods. They're running down.
Stop and frisk.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back. The racial profiling is coming back, and like I was saying, there are data statistics that shows a high risk individuals based on reading scores in third grade, right. And their data shows one of the highest reasons for children acting up in schools, not paying attention, and low test scores is hunger. It all goes back to hunger.
So you saying feed the streets, motherfuckers stop wilding, or they'll get smarter, and then eventually it leads to not killing
it's all
each other?
about pouring into the community.
But you know what that though? Like that sounds good theoretically, but that's also like that's like a 15, 20-year plan. Like you're hoping that helping those kids that are in need will trickle down to, okay, 10 years from now they won't pick up a gun because they did good in school, because they were full, because they can actually focus. That's kind of what you're saying. Like in a sense, that's the process of what that would be. Like we fund the youth now so that 10 years from now they don't pick up a gun and go out and start wilding.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
that's pretty much. But like if the problem is right now everybody's wilding, we got to get these guns off the street. Then what good is, like, you kind of got to do both, don't you? You got to get rid of this.
I don't disagree with you, but sending the National Guards in the communities is not the way to go about it.
It's fucked up.
And not only
because
that,
I'm not even against that, yo. As much as I want to be like, yo, that's fucked up.
Nah.
I think they gotta stop everybody. You better stop Marianne and Suzanne coming out the grocery store too.
But you can't do that.
Stop and frisk Suzanne and Marianne. Goddamn it.
But
that's gonna lead. They're gonna get sued one time and just go to the projects.
And that's exactly what they're trying. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Bring back stop and frisk.
Be real, bro. If you stop the whole projects on Hood Day, whatever the fuck they got going on that day, and you find 100 guns, the chances of there being a lot less murders are pretty high. Am I bugging?
No, not necessarily. I don't think you're bugging. I don't think. No,
I said
no. You said am I bugging? I say I don't think you're necessarily bugging. Is what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's an immediate solution. I'm not even necessarily supporting it.
It's not. It's not an immediate solution.
But I feel like neither is like let's fund the youth now and.
But what I'm saying is if you want to stop a problem, you don't cut the grass. You uproot the grass.
That's deep.
If you cut the grass, you do this now.
Years.
But no. But I'm saying, but what I'm saying, if you really want to stop crime, which they don't, because crime is profitable,
right?
They don't want to stop crime. They want to keep those inner cities the way they are because it all feeds into the system. They don't want to stop crime. Just like Judge Jeanine said, they're not worried about preventing crime. They're worried about it after it happens. So they don't really care about the victims. It's all about money. It's all about they don't care about actually stopping crime. But like I was saying, when as far as something as simple as food or children being hungry is concerned, they don't want any programs to feed the children. But when somebody like in the 70s, the Black Panthers had a program which they would feed the kids. J. Edgar Hoover, FBI director, when we took our community in our own hands and said, okay, you guys won't do it, we'll do it ourselves. One of the biggest threats was, J. Edgar Hoover said, was the Black Panther Party, was their 10-point program, was their breakfasts feeding the kids, was their own policing of their own communities. You know what the police did when they were implementing their breakfast plan? They broke into where they were doing it and they peed on everything.
That's fucking crazy.
That's what I'm saying. They don't actually care about stopping crime. They don't care about stopping crime. They like I said before, crime, the two variables to crime, easy formula, population and poverty. Those two things equal high crime rate. You can point anywhere on the map, worldwide. High population, high poverty equals crime.
Right.
Take one of those away. Let's say you have high population, low poverty. Nobody has the incentive to criminalize anybody. Low population, high poverty. There's nobody to criminalize. I mean, there's nobody to inflict crime on.
Right.
So, in order to prevent that, you have to implement changes to the actual communities. But what they do is, reason why also I'm not really a fan of the actual Democrats is they mask the problem. They don't actually want to fix it. So what they'll do is they'll put all this money into the community, but all those are buffer systems where they skim money off the top and they're scams at the end of the day. They don't actually want to fix crime, is what I'm saying.
I think because crime is one thing. I'm really looking just more at like murders. I ain't gonna lie. Crime is horrible. Don't get me wrong, because there's so many things that fall into that: kidnap, rape, so much other shit.
But it all coincides.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so focused on murder because I'm just thinking
it all coincides.
But they do all go together. So I should look up the stats because I was just looking at the amount of murders that happen in London, and it was their rate is at 15.1 per million, which is 1.5 per 100,000. And then I think about places like St. Louis where it's 33 per 100,000. You know the difference between St. Louis, Missouri, and London, UK? You know the difference is? Guns. Guns. It's plain and simple. It's just fucking guns. London's the hood too, but there's 15 times more people getting murdered in St. Louis, little ass St. Louis, as there is in London. And I feel like it's just the guns. If you get the guns off the street, a lot less people die. And I think they just need to up it. Listen, you get caught with a gun, bro, an illegal gun, you're doing 20 years. I bet you a lot more people will stop having illegal guns.
I don't think so.
I think so. I know so. For a fact. What? For a fact.
That's
a generation of people get 20 years for a gun, motherfuckers gonna be like, yo, let's just chill with the gun shit. Go get a knife.
That's never worked. That's never worked. You can look at the war on drugs, Nixon. You can look at the Clinton crime bill. It's never worked. In order to severe penalties on criminality does not change the conditions that criminality stems from.
That's true.
Doesn't change the conditions.
No, you are really right though.
I know
thought about that because when they went from crackers just like a regular little crime to all of a sudden your second or third offense they'll give you literally a life sentence for like 3 grams of crack. I forgot the exact number. I think it was 3 grams of crack. About your third offense, it's like damn near life. Or I'm for sure it's like something severe, but it really didn't change nothing.
It doesn't. That's what I'm telling you. It doesn't change crime.
So you're right.
You have to change the conditions that crime are created in order to change the crime statistics. You can do whatever like. If I wanted to create a crime-ridden area, it's easy to do. I'll put it to you like this. You remember Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Yeah, of
remember
course.
the game Roller Coaster? I know. Mark remembers Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I remember.
So let's say. For everybody that doesn't know, Roller Coaster Tycoon, they have a lot of franchises, but you have your own theme park, and you mold it the way you want, and however you mold it is how it does, right? So you can do the roller coasters over here, concession stands over there. You can do it as far as, let's say you don't put any bathrooms in your theme park. People are going to go crazy if you don't put any food in there, right? So how you ever maneuver your theme park is how the algorithm of the people, you can see the people interacting with your theme park or whatever, right? So if I wanted to create a high crime area, I would put a large amount of people in a small place. I would lower the opportunities. I would undevelop their schools. I would pour drugs on the streets. And then I would say I'm tough on crime and put every cop on the street corner and over police that place. I can easily create a high crime area. Putting more police in an underdeveloped area does not decrease crime. It never has. The statistics don't show. Damn. But you see what's going on.
You're not lying.
I know.
You're debunking everything I wanted to say.
No, it doesn't.
I had nothing to say.
Like you see what's going. You see what the mayor of Baltimore is doing. He's doing more community stuff. As soon as you pour more into the community, people have more stuff to do. Like the statistics are there. Being tough on crime does not stop crime from happening. You can do whatever you want, but if people don't have the material conditions to get themselves out of, and I'm not talking about individuals again. I'm talking about a large population of people. That's not going to stop crime. You can over police if you want. Increase the police budgets, tough on crime. Look at those deplorables over there. Why can't they get it together? That's the narratives that they're painting. That is exactly what they're trying to do. It doesn't decrease the crime rate unless you allocate funds to the communities.
Man, so I'm thinking, so what's the answer? Do we just start like shipping people in large groups to like the middle of rural nowhere, the same way they're doing like East Stroudsburg and the Poconos and shit? They're like, look, all y'all from the South Bronx, all this shit, Throgs Neck, y'all motherfuckers get the fuck over there. Hey, y'all go over there and hide in the mountains, and we're gonna spread y'all apart so that we're not in this concentrated little area in the projects. Like, what's the solution? And then move everybody from the projects. Cool, we turn the projects into high-rise fucking luxury apartments. We move Meg and Becky from Minnesota into this area, and then all of a sudden we slowly start to like maybe gentrification might be the answer.
He said, no, I think it would be allocating more time and more funds into the community, whether that's schools, whether that's outreach programs.
I think we gotta spread this shit out. We gotta like dilute the water.
You think it's too densely populated? Is what you're saying? That's what you're getting at.
What you said really makes sense though, bro. There's not a lot of people who am I supposed to commit crimes against. There's so much empty land. I mean,
and that's the thing when it comes to crime statistics and race. Just like I painted that picture for you, that's why context really matters.
Right.
Because you can look at the world map. Anywhere where there's high population,
yeah, that's a fact,
and high poverty, there will be a high crime rate. But when you look at American history, it just so happens that one race of people were pushed into these areas.
Right.
So instead of saying, why are those people like that, they're removing the context of the position that those people were put in.
That's a fact.
It's no different. That's why context is very important. It's no different. Let's say you were moving. And you had two options. One of the options were living in the mountains, and one of the options is living countryside. And I said to you,
isn't that the same thing?
Well, the mountains, like I'm talking about, like where it's cold, and then countryside, where it's like, where it's just country, like where it's barren, where there's not a lot of people around. Those are your options when you're moving. For example, let's say that I said, be careful moving up in those mountains because a lot of people get hypothermia. And then you're like, oh my gosh, why is it that a lot of people get hypothermia in those mountains? It's not just those mountains. You have to add the context of the temperature. It's not those mountains. It's everywhere there is mountains where people live that people have a higher chance of hypothermia. Gotcha. It's not just those mountains right there. It's adding the context of the temperature. If you live in a lower temperature environment, you are more likely to get hypothermia.
Right.
Just like if you live by the beach, you're more likely to drown. It's the same thing. It's about context.
That makes sense.
If you live in a high densely populated area with high poverty, high density area with a high poverty rate, it's a high crime area.
It's definitely a simple equation. I see it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Don't forget when slavery ended, 13th Amendment, they allowed slavery as long as you are a felon. It's the same thing. They changed it from being enslavers and slaves. They just changed it to convict leasing. It's the same thing. You think there's no slavery? That's why when the clip that went viral, people were saying there's no slavery in America, that they fought to stop slavery. No, there are people today that work for $1 a day. What is that?
That's slavery.
That's slavery.
A quarter a day.
Well, my context is if the private ownership is there, then that makes it slavery. Rather than, I think they should abolish private prisons, because let's say
that's incentivized to put more people in them. That's a really bad equation.
That's what slavery is.
Right.
The private ownership. But let's say now you run out on a bill at a restaurant, and now you have to work in the back washing dishes. The old cliche. Yeah. That's not slavery. You're paying restitution to that owner, right?
For what you did.
I think crime, when you commit a crime, it'll say the state versus.
Right.
You committed a crime against somebody in the community. You should be paying back your time to the community, not some private person. That's how I think it is. Okay. I think the restitution should be given back in the community, and I think the work that criminals do behind bars should go in lowering the taxes of the area, because they're part of the community. When that's my thing. I think when you
better stop, okay? The Illuminati's coming.
Listen,
and they hear you. Look, true word. They not fucking with you. You start saying so much smart shit, you could disappear, gang.
Guess what?
And I'm gonna have to start another podcast. I'm gonna talk about sports because you scaring me. Because you're making sense.
You either commit crime against a person or property, right?
Right.
So you violated somebody in the community. Your payback should be like washing dishes.
Yeah, like
it should never go into somebody to a private owner. That is slavery.
My whatever, $1 a day, it'll be all right if that dollar was getting pushed into
the community
or building a bar in the community, or you know what I'm saying?
That's why it should all go back in the community. But it goes back.
That would fund the fuck out of the community. All those billionaires that are being funded by the private prisons they own, aka Michael Jordan and a bunch of Texas prisons.
But that's a different Michael Jordan. That's not the same Michael Jordan. That was a white Michael Jordan. Yes.
Shut the fuck out of here.
White Michael Jordan. Same name. Yes.
Hold on. We got to clarify
Correct.
Because we've been down and we've been talking shit about Michael Jordan.
And I'm not a Michael Jordan fan, by the way. but that's the wrong Michael Jordan.
We learned that here today, and I know
That was
y'all learned
that was a white Michael
for
Jordan.
the past 10, 15 years,
He's
they've
been getting
saying
slandered.
Michael Jordan owns prisons, and he ain't shit. And come to find, the only prison he owns is the fucking Bobcats.
Core Civic is the largest private prisons owner in the country. Core Civic is what it's called. But guess what? Guess who pays per bed for each convict?
Texas.
The taxes.
I knew it.
So
See, I know something, goddammit.
So, and that's the thing. They hate socialism unless it's in the private sector.
Ooh.
They love it when it's in the private sector. Our tax-paying dollars goes to bed each criminal that works for a private prison system.
That makes no fucking sense.
That's why it's not capitalism. That's not the free market.
Oh shit!
They don't.
That's
it's corporate capitalism.
They
don't
use our tax dollars. To pay for these criminals to be in jail, and that jail is profiting off those criminals to a private entity.
Yes,
the owner of the jail.
Thank you. Yes,
that's out of pocket.
That's out
of pocket.
That is not
we're
the free.
We're not talking about $1 million. We're talking about billions.
Bro. That is not the free market. They care about the free market. They don't care about the free market. It's capitalism for me and socialism. It's socialism for thee, capitalism for me.
But there are some prisons that aren't privately owned though.
Not all of them.
Right. So what are the other ones?
Not all of them.
Do the other ones pour into the communities?
I'd have to go back. But they're probably but I knew though they get a lot of there's a lot of private companies that get contracts from the government that they do the work for, that the presidents do the work for. A lot of private companies as well.
One more time, run that.
So I know I said that wrong. So I know there are a lot of private entities that get contracts from the government that a lot of the prisoners work for. So let's say you had a textile company, right?
Okay.
I'll contract your work through prison labor.
This don't sound right at all.
No. You know what?
What the fuck?
It's slavery. That's exactly what it is.
What the fuck?
The 13th Amendment.
Leasing you there's 1,500 prisoners in the middle of Odessa, Texas. Here you go. You want to make these motherfuckers make curtains all day?
Convict leasing.
For $1. Yeah, you said that earlier.
Leasing.
And I'm like, is this the leasing part?
Convict leasing.
Do they do that?
They changed slavery from the field to the prison system.
Because every time I think of the prison, all I think is about niggas making license plates. Remember that? Like every cartoon, they show motherfuckers in prison making license plates. I thought that was going to the government. I thought that is that a real thing?
What? A lot of them are
do license plates get made in prison? I need to know this because you just told me Michael Jordan was a white man.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
the real Michael Jordan is a white man.
You think of the chain game, the ball and chain, somebody hit.
And I still don't know what they was mining on the side of the railroad, but they making holes on the side of the railroad. They built the railroads.
Yeah. Who do you think built the railroads?
You telling me Vanderbilt bitch ass used convict labor to build the railroads?
Yeah. Are you starting to get the picture? Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution through
it was through slavery.
Slavery, which is you're allowed to be a slave if you commit a felony.
You're a felon.
And guess what? Now you can't vote. Now you can't get certain loans.
Yo, this shit was all built through slavery, one way or the other.
And guess what? And they created the conditions for a certain racial group to create a high crime environment.
And let's make them our slaves again.
And now I'm the policeman waiting on the side of the road, waiting for them to kill each other.
Let's put 15,000 people in these high-rise buildings and see what they don't do.
Now I'm tough on crime. Now look at these convicts. Look at these prisoners. They deserve the worst.
And they create the problem, and then they create the solution to make it look like, oh, it's lit. Look at what we doing. We dropping these crime rates. We doing all this shit. Well, the crime wouldn't have been happening if you ain't fucking put 15,000 people in these high rises and called it the projects.
That's what I'm.
Damn.
Do you see the picture?
That's fucked up.
Why it doesn't.
Because I've always seen it, but breaking it down, hearing it in words,
but that's why
you say it too.
But that's why it doesn't matter what prison sentences you put on criminals unless you change the material conditions.
I still do think. Stop and frisk is fucking out of pocket, but I feel like the higher we get these motherfuckers off the streets that got guns, that listen. If you don't got nothing illegal, you shouldn't be worried about stop and frisk. But that would be very annoying. I say that now, but I ain't gonna lie. If I get pulled over, especially me, I do no crime. That would really piss me the fuck off. If I'm just walking out of Walmart, motherfuckers like, yo, come in.
And I don't want people to think that I don't think that people should be accountable for their actions. I've always said people need to be held accountable for their actions, but the context of the environment is very important. I think everybody should be accountable of their actions. Right. If you do something, if you commit a crime, yes, you should be accountable for your actions. But these people in charge, they don't really care about fixing the crime issue. Being tough on crime statistically shows it does not fix crime at all.
Right.
So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
No, we got time. We got time.
I wanted to touch on a topic because I had seen it in the news recently. And you had sent it in, and it was like the Target CEO steps down.
Yes.
And I started seeing a lot of people. Shout out to my son Brandon. He was posting about, you know what I'm talking about, Brandon. He was posting about like that the boycotting of Target, especially the black community, came together, and it feels like they said that Target lost a lot of sales during that time, to the point where this is kind of like leading over from that. And it was like the power of coming together and boycotting something. You'd be surprised. But they saying Target CEO steps down. I want to hear what that really means and what's going on.
Let me tell you what that really means.
And are we boycotting Target still? Is Target still not valid? Because I didn't like Target in the first place.
No, I don't bang with Target.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so people don't know, Target stopped its DEI initiatives, and the black community started boycotting Target, and they lost a whole lot of money. So first I want to talk about DEI, and then I'm going to talk about the Target CEO. So the diversity, equity, inclusion was a way for people who wouldn't normally get opportunities to get some opportunities.
Right.
And it's quickly tied to the black community, like it always is. But the people that benefited the most from DEI were white women. Women were also part of DEI. Those are the ones that benefited the most. But of course, it makes it a black issue, black versus white issue, black versus Latino issue. And the reason why DEI was even implemented in the first place was because there are people from certain neighborhoods, certain ethnicities, certain genders, where, when I mean certain genders, I mean women, where they weren't getting the fair opportunity in the hiring practices as somebody else, where they weren't even looking at those candidates. So what DEI did is they made it so you had to look at a candidate from over here. You had to look at a candidate from over there. But the pushback is they try to make it seem like DEI was hiring people who were unqualified. Mm-hmm. That is what they're trying to drive home. Like, this person's a DEI hire, quote unquote. This person's not qualified for the job, right, which is a straw man. 100% straw man. Doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. Nobody was getting hired because they were a woman. Nobody was getting hired just because they were Latino, just because they were black. That's what they tried to, that was the push. And what they're trying to do now is they're trying to gaslight it. They're trying to, they're really trying to bring us back to before civil rights. Every initiative that targets to uplift minorities or uplift underrepresented communities, they're trying to say that it's racism against white people. I'm telling you, it's coming, shit. Bro. They're trying to gaslight everything.
That was a fucking Jedi mind trick.
They're coming for the Civil Rights Act. Watch, they're coming for it. It's already laid out.
Yeah, Trump's already been on bullshit.
That's what I'm saying.
He's trying to take museums.
They say they say all this stuff is anti-white now. It's woke, anti-white. I'm telling you,
woke is anti-white now.
That's what I'm saying. So any initiatives that would to uplift a community that never had its light shine on it, now they're saying that's anti-white. So that's coming next. But I want to get to Target. So all this is all smoke and mirrors. Target is all smoke and mirrors, because the Target CEO stepped down as CEO, but now he's chairman of the board.
Oh, one of those old.
It's all. You're
not the head coach no more. We're gonna have you working in the back office, though.
Which chairman of the board in many companies is a higher position of power. So how it goes normally is the CEO is normally the fall guy. CEO is normally the fall guy when stuff goes wrong or when stuff goes right. Like they're the guy they prop up.
El Chapo's the fall guy.
But chairman of the board, so the board of directors, the CEO answers to. Mm-hmm. CEO answers to the board of directors. The CEO can get fired by the board of directors. Yeah. And the board of directors represents the shareholders. They're about shareholders. They're about the people that pour money. They're about the investors. So the board of directors, so being chairman of the board, you are the chairman of the board of directors. So it's more like in a lot of different mega national corporations, it's more like a step up than a step down. But we see it as the CEO steps down. So it's more of a Jedi mind trick, if you ask me.
Damn.
So it's not really what people make it seem. He stepped down as CEO, but now he's chairman of the board, which a lot of companies, they hold a lot more power.
You said something that when you said anti-white, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I actually have like, I feel like there's something to that. Like people do really be anti-white, son. And I don't like the division. I don't like divisiveness, and that I don't like seeing that on the gram. I'm not gonna lie. When people be like, "Oh, look, it's the white lady this, white lady that," because obviously
I don't like division either.
Like we get it, of course. The racism predominantly came from one side for sure, right? But let's not act like there wasn't people who were clearly against that and tried to make a change, and they're from that same community. So it's like to just be like, "Oh, but all white people are bad." Like I hate when my people push that like agenda. I think that's wild.
I agree, me too.
And I think it's just not the right. It's not what you should be pushing to anybody. It's not true. Also, you know what I'm saying? It's just not true. Plain and simple. It's like saying all black people are criminals. All black people are bad. It's like nah, that's not true. That's insane. You know what I'm saying? So
I 1,000% agree.
and you know what? I was listening to people talk about the difference between racism and prejudice.
Yes.
And I thought that was important. I wanted to hear your thoughts.
No. What was?
Well, what I understood was that minority, at least in this country, minorities can't be racist because in order to be racist, it means you have some level of power and control in order to oppress somebody. That's racism, is oppressing like a group of people. Prejudice is kind of just like when you assume something about somebody because of their race or for whatever reason, race, gender, whatever it is. You're just like, oh, this is probably one of those people. That's not being racist. You know what I'm saying? You're not oppressing that person by having negative thoughts on them that you predetermine just because of how they look for whatever reason. Like that's just being prejudiced. Being racist is actually having the ability to, like I said, oppress somebody because of whatever race they are.
I agree. I think prejudice and bigotry is just not like I don't. But unless you control the systems, you can't. I don't think my definition of racism. I don't think you can be racist unless, let's say, it was an HBCU situation and they didn't hire a white professor because he was white. That would technically that would be racism.
Yeah, you're right.
That would be racism.
If he qualified and everything.
If that construct, that would be racism.
He got dreadlocks. Yeah, he's good.
But
like, nah, you white still.
But racism is a system.
Right.
It is a system. So a lot of times when minorities, which I'm not for people being bigoted or prejudiced against other people, but unless you have the power over them. But so with that same, a white person can be racist and not be bigoted or prejudiced. Because racism is a system. So there are situations, guess what, where I'm okay with black people unless they get power. I don't want you to get power. I'm okay with that artist being an artist. I just don't want him getting his masters.
Right.
That is the racism aspect.
He can come to my son's birthday, but don't you try to buy yourself out this contract.
Don't you try to buy yourself. Oh, you can't buy the city block. You can't own your rights.
That Jerry Jones, Michael Parsons situation.
That is. So you cannot be. You can. Well, Jerry Jones. There's some financial incentive there. So I would.
Yeah. Regardless.
But I
love him, but
yes,
not so much.
But there are some. So you can be non-bigoted, but still be racism because it's a system. You still want to own everything. Because ownership of other people owning it is a threat to you. That is where the race is. So you cannot be bigoted, but you can say, "Oh no, you're biting off way more than you can chew." You love when you do it, and that's it. And that's the thing with all of the revolutions throughout history. There's a section for you to entertain. There's a section for you to be the help, but once you do too much, you're doing too much. You're having too much power. You can't have your own stuff. Because now that's a threat. So it's that's been a whole thing throughout history.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to hear your take on that.
But yeah, no. So I 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
unless you have some type of
breaking it down though. I never heard the reverse. The HBCU.
That'd be racism.
And it paints the picture. Okay, so you can be technically racist. There are ways to be racist, but it's very rare that's the situation.
We don't own anything. In reality, we don't own anything. Yeah. Even the stuff that we dominate, we don't own. So
NBA, the NFL, MLB,
entertainment,
rap. Entertainment,
everything.
Dominate
culture. We don't even own the culture. We don't even own the culture.
None of that shit.
We don't even own our own culture.
Damn.
We don't own anything.
Yeah, that's deep. That's a whole episode. That's fucking deep.
Yeah, I will bro.
Damn. As soon as you said that, it hit me like, no, dominate everything.
Yeah, but we don't own anything.
Except for maybe B-boy, like the dancing, that's Koreans all day. They got that shit down packed. Nobody dance better than Koreans. I'm sorry.
The Jabberwockies?
Yeah, nobody. They might even be Korean.
Wait, Jabberwockies were I think
Nah, it was. I'm pretty sure they're Korean.
Okay.
Not they might have been Filipino. It was Filipino.
Nah.
They probably from Bergenfield.
No,
Shout out to Bergenfield.
no, I think they were Korean.
Yeah, I believe so.
But yeah, so I believe those are the difference between prejudice and bigotry versus racism. Racism being a system.
That was dope. And I mean, speaking of the system, I know you seen. Did you hear Ghislaine Maxwell's statement on Trump?
Of course, I told you it was coming.
Yeah, yo, that's why I put that in the topic. I'm like, how'd you miss this? I'm like, yo, your playbook. You said this was gonna happen. They did exactly what you said.
It's
You said
ironic.
play action, tight end post is gonna happen. You
look,
saw the whole shit.
I see the entire. I know exactly what you're
She's
doing based off
streaking
your
down the middle
formation.
of the field.
Based off your formation, I knew what they were doing. So how do you? So how? Wait.
She said he's never been to that spot. She said he never was. You know what I mean?
Time out. So what? So you mean to tell me one of the most prolific traffickers of children
That's a hell of a
in
title.
this era?
That's a hell of a title.
Is she not? She's one of the
Yo,
most.
you don't want that title. That's a bad title, gang.
That we know of.
Right.
So you telling me that they interrogated her for like 6 hours? All of a sudden, fly her to a minimum security facility, and now all of a sudden, no, I've never seen Trump do anything. No, I've never seen Trump. I'm telling you, the pardon is coming. It's on the way, and like I said, they're gonna make her a victor of, and she was a victim in all this. I'm telling you, it's on the way. It's on the way, and he's been trying to. Everything he's doing now is to distract from the Epstein files.
I think Trump know his health might be declining. I think Trump know he finna die from just health wise because he's old as fuck.
Yeah, he is.
And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna crash this shit.
I don't think it has anything to do with that.
Because he's not worried about jail. What's jail to a motherfucker that's finna die
No,
in the
it's
next
not
3-4 years?
But he could be 30 years old. That's his mindset. He's always been like, he's been the same person
No,
forever.
I'm saying he really feels how he feels. He's doing everything he's doing. He's just like, I'm doing this shit now. We not about to play. Because I could be dead next month. I got to free the homies. I got to make sure the homie just laying his good money. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get back to that trafficking shit. Allegedly. We're going to do all of that good shit. We're going to do that shit now because I only got a couple summers left. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm glad you said free the homies because Mr. Trump is not tough on crime. He's probably pardoned like 1,800 people.
1,800?
1,800 people. He pardoned.
I didn't know he had that many jail-free cards. God damn.
He pardoned. Everybody on January 6th was
Right.
pardoned.
I wonder how many other people was there for that.
All the fraudsters he pardoned.
Fraudsters?
Fraudsters.
Oh, fraudsters. Oh yeah, his home. Yeah, you talking about one of his main mans is a big fraud.
The owner of the Silk Road, pardoned him. He had a life sentence.
The owner. Oh, the website.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Silk
talking
Road.
about him. Yeah.
So he wants to be tough on trafficking, but person
people.
had a whole platform that all the traffickers used, and he was okay with.
And you let him out.
And speaking of, before we get out of here, I want to talk about what's going on in Venezuela. He is ramping up.
We back to Maduro.
It's ramping up.
What's happening?
It's ramping up.
Do we need to go buy gas?
Apparently, we are starting to invade some of the shores of Venezuela. They've been trying to get him out for a while, and now I'm telling you,
Who's trying to get him out?
America.
It's trying to get Maduro out.
It's been a
So
thing.
right. When you said they trying to get him out.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to make
us.
sure.
I meant us.
Right.
Us as in America.
Right.
They as in America. Us as in America.
Right.
But they've been trying to get out of power for forever, and it's always something. Now it's that he's a prolific drug trafficker, but in reality, there's no more prolific drug traffickers than the U.S. government. There's no more prolific drug traffickers, gun traffickers than the U.S. government. And when you look at a lot of the leaders that we have over, just for example, the Nigerian president. Do you know anything about the Nigerian president?
Nah, but the Nigerian president. I feel like you've been talking about a whole lot of different countries in Africa, so I don't want to misspeak.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So they're trying to move the Maduro under the guise that he's a big drug trafficker, but
I remember that.
America doesn't care about drug trafficking.
Nah,
We are one of the biggest drug traffickers in the world.
that's a fact.
One of the biggest gun traffickers in the world. And when you look at the leader of Nigeria, he is a former actual big drug trafficker. And he has something going on right now where they've been trying to prosecute for him for his trafficking, but of course we protecting him. They don't care about drug trafficking. They care about obedience. Mm-hmm. The leader, the president of Nigeria, has been a puppet for America forever. Yeah. So they're trying to protect him. So they don't care. They don't care about drug trafficking. It's about obedience.
Hey man,
Venezuela has the largest the largest oil reserves in the world. It's about the oil. It's always been about the oil. It's always been about the resources.
Yeah, the Legion of Doom is real, son.
Yo, we're living in the epicenter of it.
Yo,
it's been a thing. Yo, that's what listen, bro. Listen to me. Listen to me very carefully, bro. Anytime it's foreign policy, bro. Please, I'm asking anybody who's watching this. Please do your own research. Please do your own research. Do not listen to the clickbaits, to the titles, to the dog whistles, the propaganda that the government says and just runs with it. Okay, if you want to use that as context, but please do your own actual grassroots research on certain situations and certain topics, because a lot of it is not what it seems.
No, absolutely not. They're gonna paint whatever picture they let them, because, like you said, we're not doing our own research. We just go whatever it looks like.
And they need the support of the people in order to justify whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
they need that.
That's the fucking playbook.
So they really try to get them to come up off the power. So
we're gonna see how that's gonna go, man. Because listen, Maduro don't got a solid team, man. They gonna whack his ass. I'll be real with you. That's one thing America will do, is whack your ass. So keep playing if you want. keep playing if you want. Holding Exxon Mobil to fucking hostage, nigga. But they coming, all right? And you know me, man. Listen. When it come wartime, I turn into an NFL fan, and I'm going for it. All right, this is America. Listen, there's one thing we gonna do. We gonna defend some shit, and we gonna run over some shit. All right, this is like Nick Saban, Alabama fucking dynasty. Son. We don't fuck around. If y'all want to go to war, Maduro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Venezuelans, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't really got nothing against nobody, but just don't come fucking with us, because then I turn patriotic, and then I turn to a redneck from fucking Mississippi, and I'm with whatever. Let's fucking gun them down. We're not playing. Don't come over here with that shit. We fighting wars on your land, because we not fucking playing with that shit over here. Don't come to New York with that shit. It's not happening.
So the president. So you remember they just put the $50 million bounty. Just
yeah. Oh, so, he's $50 million on his head.
Yes, bro.
See, Lil Durk Mans just went to jail for kidnapping, tying it up, and shooting him. They need to get Lil Durk and OTF on the case, bro. $50 million, Maduro will be gone. And we making diss tracks.
I'm telling you, 50 M's. Yo, this is
50 mil.
Yo, this is really One Piece, bro. This is really One Piece.
Right, really.
Nah, bro. This is really
on that
Marv
note. Listen, on that note, man.
On that note, this is episode 165.
Yes, episode 165, the Free Gems Podcast.
Free Gems Podcast.
Tell a friend. Tell your mother to tap in, goddammit.
Tap in.
Okay, Cinco's here. Jesus here. Shout out to Marv. Shout out to Bravery Studios. We got a whole bunch of level ups and things going on. Y'all, listen, Bravery Studios, Garfield, New Jersey. We 5 minutes from Patterson, 15 minutes from New York City. Y'all make sure y'all tap in. Tell a friend. We gone.
We out of here.
I'm out of here.